Westfield Memorial Hospital provides high-quality health care to residents of Western New York, offering patients the most sophisticated medical advancements while keeping the ease and familiarity of a community hospital. Support for Chautauqua Sunrise has been provided by WRFA 107.9 FM, Jamestown's public radio station, streaming online 24/7 at WRFALP.com. Low power to the people. Chautauqua Sunrise is made possible by a grant from Fredonia Place, a continuing care retirement community providing dignity in a modern luxury environment. Meter's Restaurant, a family tradition for over 50 years in downtown Ripley, is a proud supporter of Chautauqua Sunrise. Meter's provides all-day dining, banquet services, and custom catering, specializing in pie. Funding for Chautauqua Sunrise is provided in part by the Chautauqua County Industrial Development Agency, with offices in Jamestown and Dunkirk, helping businesses to prosper throughout Chautauqua County. From supporting people with disabilities to enjoy great lives to providing health care services that are available to anyone, the Resource Center has been improving our county for more than 60 years. Learn more about how the Resource Center makes a positive difference in people's lives. From the Access Chautauqua Studios in Mayville, it's Chautauqua Sunrise. Chautauqua Sunrise is hosted by Doc Hamels and supported by the award-winning volunteers at Access Chautauqua. We are here to share local news, colorful interviews, and events of interest to everyone. Chautauqua Sunrise is broadcast live Saturday mornings each week from 9 to 10 a.m. Send events via email or call us live. Check us out on YouTube and Facebook. And now, from the Access Chautauqua Studios, it's Chautauqua Sunrise.
Hey, good morning, everyone, and welcome to Chautauqua Sunrise. Whew! I don't know if there was a sunrise this morning because it's really pouring out there. But I don't know about where you live, but the ground is starting to crack and get dry, and we certainly could use the rain at this point with the crops just being planted and so forth. And I know out my way, with the grapes and everything else, we sure needed it. So I hope you're having a wonderful morning. For those of you that are somewhere else in the world, good afternoon. We do stream around the world, and I want to do a special shout out to my viewers over in the Ukraine. Natalia and company, good morning. I hope you're doing well, keeping safe, and hopefully an ending to your horrible crisis over there. But you continue, and I know I say this every week, but I want you to know we don't forget about you over there, and we hope that you are safe and all your friends, okay? Let's see. We are live, and if you do want to give us a call during the show, you have a question for myself, an announcement for your club or organization, a birthday, an anniversary, whatever, or you have a question for my guests. I have lots of people in the studio today with me. Give us a call at 716-753-5225. And throughout the week, if you want to submit an announcement or something that's a fundraiser, Chautauqua Sunrise at gmail.com. We will take your announcements or your activities and announce it free of charge. As you know, the mission of Chautauqua Sunrise is to share what's going on in the county. And since we're live, we're able to do that right on the spot. Okay? I want to say good afternoon to all my listeners on WRFA 107.9, low power to the people in Jamestown. Good afternoon. Tuesdays at 1 o'clock. How cool is that? I think you're going to recognize at least one or two people that will be on the air right off the bat when we get to them. And we have a panel today from all across the county. So it's going to be a great show. So please stick around. If you can't finish the show, where do you go? You go to YouTube throughout the week. If you want to watch us again, we're on 2 and 8 every day on channel 1301 on Spectrum. Or go to Facebook. You can catch me there as well. Okay? So there's no reason why you can't watch today's show. Got an announcement to make. Justin, are you ready for this? Sure. Little drum roll. We're going to be at the Mayville Parade again this year. I don't know how many years I've done this now. It's got to be about close to 10 years. I'm sort of like that guy, at the Rose Bowl, the guy, little talking guy. We're going to be announcing the 4th of July parade, hopefully if the weather's good. That's always a lot of fun, having the helicopter go right over my head and the fire trucks making me deaf for 30 minutes. But anyways, it's a lot of fun, and we're looking forward to doing that once again this year here at, I don't know, Rick Mascaro, if you're listening, you're going to be my co-anchor, so get ready. Hopefully, he's a lot of fun to work with. Okay, so I have some announcements. I want to go as fast as I can because this panel is ready to burst here, and they want to tell all about what they're doing here in the county. So, I got to share something really, really cool. Y'all ready? I know lots of you folks follow the show on the History Channel called The Curse of Oak Island. And you know that I've had one of the leading theorists and authors on that particular topic, Jim McQuiston, and he's been on my show. Jim and I have worked together, corroborated on his last 4 books, and now we've developed a video podcast. And so, Jeff, if you could pop those pictures up, there it is. A little squinchy, but it's called Oak Island Plus. So if you go on YouTube and look up Oak Island Plus, or on Facebook, you can click on there and follow us. And we got one more picture to go with that, because I don't want to spend a lot of time on that, but Oak Island Plus. And here's a sample. I look pretty thin there. That's good. I wish it was that easy. Oak Island Plus, Jim and I you can see us right now on YouTube. And it's an introductory episode, but we plan to do 1 episode every month and getting into the details of the Oak Island mystery. Okay? So with that, I'm going to go to the announcements, and then we'll get to my guest right away. All right. Ready, Jeff? Here we go. Slide 15. Infinity, one of my favorite groups in the world. Infinity's annual spring showcase presented by Merrill Lynch will be taking place at the Jamestown High School Auditorium on Saturday, June 3rd at 7 p.m. The performance will feature an array of dynamic performances by students who study at Infinity Visual and Performing Arts Center. A student art gallery will also be on display at Pearl City Clay House throughout the month of June. Pre-sale tickets are on sale now at the Infinity Center or online for only $8. The tickets will be available on the day of the event for $10. All students under 18 will be admitted free of charge. Also, Pearl City Clay House is hosting a full day of classes on felting with local artist Debbie Penley on May 27th. Stop by for one or all the offered felting classes, including felted spring scarves or creating sets of felted beads you can add to your craft projects or turn into a necklace to wear. I'm not sure what felting is. I guess I'll have to look that one up. Classes range from $10 to $20 each. For more information, give them a call, 664-0991. All right. Hey, this is that time of year where we start to have farmers markets. And there's one in Jamestown, there's one in Westfield, but I'm here to tell you about Mayville Farmers and Artisans Markets. Begins May 25, and it's hosted by the Mayville Chautauqua Community Chamber Committee. And it's going to be held throughout the summer months at the Village Park, just down the road from here, on Routes 394 and 430 in Mayville. Each Thursday from noon to 4. Thursdays, noon to 4. This year, the market will begin on May 25 and run through September 7. Vendor spots are available now, and you can sign up online for more information or register as a vendor. Where do you go? chautauquachamber.org. Okay? Get all those fresh veggies and fruits that we all enjoy here in Chautauqua County. Want to go to the movies? It's a rainy day. Lots of things going on at the Reg, but this one is the showing of Up. Okay? Oscar nominees Michelle Williams and Hong Chow star in Showing Up. I'm sorry. That's the name of it. I thought it was the name of the movie was Up. That's a different one. This is called Showing Up. It's going to be held this coming May 24th, Wednesday at 7 p.m. In the film, a sculptor preparing to open a new show must balance her creative life with the daily dramas of family and friends. In Kelly Rickard's vibrant and captivatingly funny portrait of art and craft. Showing Up is rated R. It's 108 minutes long. Also coming up at the Ridge include the historical music drama Chevalier. That'll be May 31st at 7 p.m. The biographical sports drama Big George Foreman, June 2nd. Owen Wilson in the art world comedy Paint, June 7th. And the 30th anniversary special engagement of Richard Linklater's, I don't know how to say that, high school comedy called Dazed and Confused. That should be my motto. June 14th at 7 p.m. Tickets are usually $7 plus $1 for the restoration fee for the theater. Okay, and if you want tickets, go to the box office Mondays and Fridays from 12 to 5, Wednesdays from 12 to 8, or give them a call at 484-7070. All right, moving along, slide 17. Let's see. This is from the Alzheimer's group. They wanted to let you know that they are going to have a meat raffle. These are getting more and more popular. When I was a kid, nobody knew what a meat raffle was. Why would you be raffling off meat? These are really cool and people seem to enjoy them. Tickets are only $10 pre-sale. The event will be from 12:30 p.m. to 4 p.m. on Saturday, June 10 at the Mayville, just down the road, American Legion. Your $10 ticket get you a seat, beer or pop, and some or water, a chance at door prizes. They're going to have a grill, a hammock, Borsari grilling spices, and barbecue tools, a family 4-pack of mini golf at Webb's in Mayville, a gift card at Mayville Hardware, and a whole lot more. There will be 10 to 12 cycles of raffles for meats, great for grilling. Each raffle costs $2 to $5, so bring your dollar bills. Hot dogs will be cooking on site for a donation as well. Feel free to bring your own snacks in just, wait a minute, there's no outside alcohol or cash bar. There's a 50-50 happening. Well, these things are often worded interesting. They want to offer the Mayville area an event to celebrate their dad's Father Day celebration. So bring your dads or celebrate the ones that have passed but are well loved. And also this is supporting the 2023 Walk to End Alzheimer's. Want more information? Give them a call at 716. Ready? Here we go. 467-7740. And finally, two more. Sip and Paint. If you want to go to the Ripley Library in my hometown over on Main Street, they're going to have Rendezvous at Sunset. It includes all art supplies and step-by-step instruction. Cost is only $35 per person. Reservations required. It's one of those you can bring your own bottle. Payment is due at time of reservation. To purchase a seat, you go to, Paint. I don't know how to say this one. Just sign up at the Ripley Library. The website is a strange one. No, I can't do it. Okay, give them a call at 736-3913. Let's see, it's going to be held June 3rd. I already mentioned that. Okay, so again, 736-3913. And I know these are real popular, and that's a Sip and Paint. And finally, today, the Chautauqua County Health Department is having a free rabies clinic at the Westfield Highway Department over on Chestnut Street from 8 a.m. to noon. So as soon as you're done watching this show, take your dog or cat. Animals must be pre-registered for dogs, cats, and domesticated ferrets, 3 months of age and so forth. Give them a call at 753-4481 and see if you can register before you get there. All right, that's it. That's the fastest I've talked in a long time. We're going to be right back. Stay tuned. I got a great show in store for you.
You've messed up your son's haircut.
Mom?
Do you A, try to fix it?
Like it never happened.
B, work with what you got? Or C, show solidarity?
Thank you, baby.
As a parent, there are no perfect answers. But you don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. Thousands of teens in foster care will love you just the same.
Okay, we're back. I want to frame this discussion really quick. Back in the 60s, I was growing up in the city of Buffalo, and I went to Canisius High School, which was really a cool place. And they did a call out for the students to do something called a CAP. And what we were doing, we were working with inner city kids and all that sort of thing. And it seemed really cool at the time. And never did I realize until I was like 50 years later what CAP meant. I didn't even know what it meant. It just CAP. It was always CAP. community action program started by Lyndon Baines Johnson. Never even realized it. So I want you all to know that we got a lot of work to do still, and we had a lot of work to do then, and now we're going to talk about what we got to do now in 2023. And that was back in the 70s, and doesn't seem possible we're still talking about issues in our communities, right?
Amen.
I want to welcome a whole panel today from the I.D.E.A, and we got Bishop Clarke. I don't want to mispronounce everybody's name here. I got Vidalys Holmes.
Vidalys.
Say again?
Vidalys.
Vidalys. I'm sorry.
It's okay.
I was thinking something else. Sandra Lewis.
Yes.
Oh boy. And then I got Shiloh Cahuatyo.
You got it. That's me.
All
Thank you
right.
for having us. I
You are
appreciate
absolutely welcome. And so Bishop Clarke, I mentioned earlier that you are, and your group are well recommended to be here. I contacted you before someone said, "Oh, you need to get those folks on the show." I said, "I already got them. I already scheduled." We scheduled this quite a long time ago, didn't
Correct.
we? And I know you know Diane Hannum. I think she's on your advisory board,
Yes,
perhaps?
she's on the Stern Committee.
Right. And I'm on her board of directors.
Ah,
So we all kind of intersect here in Chautauqua County. I always tell people Chautauqua County is like 6 big neighborhoods in Buffalo. So what I want to do real kind of quickly, and I know you might say, "Oh my God," just tell us a little bit about yourselves, just to get people acquainted and where you're from, so that people know who we are. So
Yeah.
let's start with you, Bishop Clarke.
first I want to thank you so much for having us on your show.
You're welcome.
It's truly a pleasure to be here, in particular to talk about this issue. My name is Lee Croft Clarke, and I'm an ordained bishop within the Church of God of Cleveland, Tennessee. And I do pastor a church, Healing Word Ministries Church of God in Jamestown, New York. And I also function as the project director for the I.D.E.A coalition.
Okay, we're going to get into what that is in a little
In
bit.
a little bit, we're going
Okay.
to get more specific into it.
And I'm going to challenge these three ladies. Have you all been to Cleveland, Tennessee? I have. That makes it two of us. I have a
That's
very
right.
good friend that lives there, and his wife, Dr. Ron Page. He taught at the university down or college. What I'm not sure what level it is,
Right.
but it's a beautiful, beautiful area
Yeah,
down there.
it's a different place from here.
It sure is.
But it's also a wonderful place. to
Yeah. So I saw that in your bio, and I thought, oh, I've been there. Okay. Vidalys.
Yes, correct.
Okay. I don't know why I got Vidalys out of that.
It's okay.
Vidalys. Okay.
So I am Vidalys Holmes. I am born and raised in Jamestown, New York. And I've been working with UPMC Chautauqua Hospital now for I'm going on 16 years.
What's your role there?
So right now I do radiology scheduling. And then I had joined in one of the I.D.E.A coalition meetings, and Bishop Clarke here recruited me, and here I am.
Pulled you right in.
Yes.
Okay. Next, we have Sandra Lewis from Fredonia.
Yes. I worked at SUNY Fredonia for 33 years and several different departments.
Such as?
They used to call it the Computer Center,
Mm-hmm.
and I was the academic coordinator there.
Okay.
I assisted the faculty with their statistics and research and the computer labs and their computer
A light
usage.
topic. Yeah.
Yes. And then for, I think it's about 15, 16 years, I did half-time between IT, is what they call it now,
yeah.
and the president's office. I was the affirmative action
Mhm.
person there. I took care of the I.D.E.A issues and also Title IX.
Oh, yeah.
And I did diversity programs every semester in that role. And if I didn't have enough to do then, I also did a stint in the mathematical sciences department. I taught calculus and statistics. I did that for a while. And then the last job I had was in the Professional Development Center, where I, again, assisted the employees in their professional development in their jobs. So I did computer training, I did other things to I did other things then. And then I decided to take an incentive that they had going to retire. And then immediately COVID hit.
Oh, yeah.
I know. I said, oh man, I should have stayed that working. But anyway, I have always been involved in community, Meals on Wheels, hospice, Zonta, and I continue that aspect in my retirement. And I don't know how I was first introduced to Bishop
I
Clarke.
know that feeling.
But I remember that.
How did I get on this board?
I met him in the streets of Dunkirk, and he started talking about the I.D.E.A project, and I was enthusiastically interested in it because there was an aspect of it that intrigued me. It was a little change, you know. If we do the same thing, expect no change.
That's right.
But you need.
That's called insanity.
Oh, okay. But you change something
Keep doing the
up.
same thing, expect a different outcome.
Right. So the thing that got me interested in working with the project was that a coalition was being formed of organizations and businesses that would look to the I.D.E.A implementation team, the steering team, and be a part of the solutions. And they also signed on the dotted line that they agree to use these solutions and be a part of it.
Right, it's a
To
commitment.
work. Yeah. So that was different. So the places that we thought people would have some concerns about, they were part of the solution.
Okay. All right, let's move on to Shiloh. Shiloh, good morning.
Good morning. Thank you so much for having us.
You're welcome.
I feel lucky to be here, and I'm
Why?
really, because it's wonderful to see just the unity of the community and to see the issue and then come together and try to. Obviously, we can't all tackle one big issue at a time, but if we try little by little, step by step, we can get somewhere, and we are, and we're here. So we're absolutely blessed. My name is Shiloh, and I am from the Bronx, born and raised. I am a child of immigrants, first generation American.
Immigrants from where?
Mexico. My parents are Mexican. We're loud and proud and very, very lucky to be here.
What part of Mexico?
Puebla.
Okay.
We're from Puebla. So I was living my whole life in the Bronx, but you know, you kind of get to that stage with your parents where you're like, the further the better.
I don't know what you mean. 72 miles was my number.
So
I got along great with my mom over the phone.
listen, sometimes distance can help love transmit faster. It's a
there's
different
something said
subject
for
for a
that, yeah.
different day, definitely. But I came here to continue my studies. I had my associates in animation illustration, but I came to SUNY Fredonia for graphic design.
Wow.
But as a child of immigrants, there's a lot of responsibilities and a lot of necessities that you see within the community in general that you see firsthand. So I was able to bring that, and maintaining a full attendance in SUNY Fredonia. I was also a case manager for Chautauqua Adult Day Services. I worked a lot with our Latino seniors, and once again, I was revisit with all of the need of resources that are not necessarily out there, or they're out there but not necessarily very accessible to our upgrowing population for seniors, and also our minorities who don't necessarily have the same means to get to that kind of resources.
Okay.
But I was met by Bishop Clarke in a meeting where he invited all of the local community organizations to see if they're interested in taking part of this action, and Chautauqua Adult Day Services was hands down very happy to assist. And as soon as he voiced we need a North County Latino representative, I had the smile as big as day, and I was like, I think I'm your person, but we can talk. And here we are. I am now a communication graphic designer, and I am now part of the Chautauqua Center team in Dunkirk. I will be a care coordinator, and I do this. I want to say I do this as a hobby, and it sounds a little bit not I want to say that because it's been my whole ordeal with my whole life. If I can do something, kindness is free. If I can do something for the community, for the sake of others, to improve, to provide, to support, I'm there. So this is, you guys will see at home today and online what we're about, and we're exactly that. And we're very excited to be here and to share a little bit about the needs and what we have planned to conquer and take care of those needs.
Awesome.
All right.
Back to you, Bishop Clarke.
Yes, sir.
I.D.E.A.
Yeah.
Let's spell it out and
Spell
let's
it.
get into the heart of the matter here.
So the I.D.E.A is, if you go back from the beginning, it's Chautauqua County Inclusion, Diversity, Equity, and Access Coalition. And that's where you get I.D.E.A. Coalition. But just to give a sense from, if you go back to the beginning of the whole process as to why this came about, I don't know if you remember back in, I think it was 2019, when the whole issue with George Floyd occurred.
Oh, yeah.
And there was a lot of protests and so on and so forth in the country. And there was a number of agencies and institutions within Chautauqua County that began to at least have the talk about their own practices and policies and how various things needs to be looked at to see what changes need to be done in their practices such that such incident doesn't happen here in Chautauqua County. And the United Way of Southern Chautauqua, with Amy Roller being the executive director,
I know Amy.
you know her,
Yeah.
great lady. You know, she had the ability in having conversation with a number of these different institutions and organizations, what have you, to say, hey, let's sit down and talk, and to see what can be done. And out of that conversation emerged the I.D.E.A. Coalition.
How long has it been in effect?
The I.D.E.A. Coalition, I know I've been a part of it as the project director for a year now. And it started, at least the conversation started maybe 6 months or maybe 7, 8 months prior, something like of that sort. But a lot of conversation took place, and some structure was beginning to take form, and they needed someone to be the project director for it all, and that's where I came in. So once we got together, the first thing we had to do with the existing individuals that were a part of the different coalition, well, we use the word coalition members. Coalition members signifies institutions, agencies, and organizations that have made a decision they want to be a part of something like this for change in our community. So a number of the coalition members, representatives from the different coalitions, got together and started to have the conversation about what should be addressed. So a number of things, you know, had already been written down and what have you. And then I got involved, and then we started to put more structure to the whole process. And in so doing, we defined the I.D.E.A. Coalition, and this is probably one of the most pivotal aspects of what the coalition is all about. And I'll just read this for you. The Chautauqua County I.D.E.A. Coalition is designed to address, prioritize, and give voice to the concerns of those individuals that have been historically marginalized and directly impacted by such things as racism and social injustice in our community. It serves as a bridge between impacted population and the various organizations that provide services within Chautauqua County. So essentially what the coalition is all about. It's a bridge looking at the concerns of the community, the impacted community, and putting together a sense of solutions, if you will, and to hand that off to the coalition members and to offer them some help in terms of how to provide services to the marginalized population in a better way. So to help that, to make that happen, we came up with three primary goals. And then we're going to get into this a little bit more. But the first goal was to engage the marginalized population and to identify their concerns and their what they see as the barriers. And then the next step was to prioritize those concerns, because we heard a lot of things, and so we had to prioritize them. And then the third one was to create a space for collaboration and collective work across the organizations and those impacted.
You know, I've found over the years, everybody has a great idea. They say, these are the issues, and there's no place to get together to talk about it and then do the follow-up, and it just goes away.
Correct,
right?
correct. So what we did was we had 6 different town hall meetings in order to hear the voice of the community. So to help to facilitate that whole process, we have 4 what we call community engagement liaison. So Vidalys represents the South County for the Latino group. Patricia represents the North County for the not Patricia, sorry. Sandra represents the North County for the African American group. Patricia, who's not here, she represents the South County for the African American group, and Shiloh represents the North County for the Latino group.
You from Westfield?
I live in Westfield now.
Okay, because y'all don't know this, but I write a column for the Post-Journal, and it's in the Silver Magazine. I don't know if you've ever seen it. My column is called From Out of the West. I don't live in North County. I don't live in South County. I live in West County. So if you ever need a rep, we got to find somebody from West County.
West County. That's just interesting.
Yes.
Because Westfield is West
County.
Yeah.
Note taken.
But before we really get into the meat of it, I just want to also just mention, you know, to date we have 39 institutions, organizations, if you will, who are coalition members all across the county,
Which gives me a thought. What I have found, and I'll watch y'all shake your head. 39 institutions, all trying to do good in the world, right?
Yes.
All in their own little silo, not Shiloh, all in their own little world. And over time, we've been encouraging, because I sit on lots of boards, try to get the 39 to say, why are you doing this by yourself?
Right. Right.
Why aren't we doing this together?
Right.
I don't have any money, but I got people.
Right.
I got volunteers, and you got the room.
Right.
Right?
Right. Right.
Good for you.
Yeah. And that's what makes the difference for this coalition, because a number of people, we've even heard it since I've been involved in it. Well, we've tried to do this before and it didn't work. We tried to do it before.
I hate that.
And when you sit back and look at it, the efforts, as good intentions as they were, it was one organizations trying to do an initiative by themselves. What you have here, to your point, is 39 different organizations.
That's amazing.
In addition to the community being a part of the process. So you have a much more broader structure, more diverse structure that is of interest to make things happen.
And may I add that we're looking for more. We're looking for more the organizations. So we have like SUNY Fredonia, we have JCC, we have the social services groups in both parts of the county. We have too many to mention, but any business, any organization, any village that would, or community that would like to be a part of the coalition, we are happy to come in and do a half-an-hour brief presentation and ask you to sign on the bottom line. Okay?
Have you talked with the Rotary clubs?
Yes, I believe.
Yes, we have
the Rotary.
Jamestown.
The Rotary.
I'm in
Club.
Westfield, Mayville.
Yes, we have the Jamestown Rotary Club.
Working on it right here, right now.
They already are a part.
Very good, because that's part of their mission as well.
Right.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's part of the process. So
before we do that, how does someone get a hold of you since she opened the door? Remember I said, if you open the door, I'll go.
I opened the door.
You open the door
Yes.
looking for people,
Yes.
organizations. So how do they get a hold of you to do that?
So, two ways.
Okay.
The first way, because at this stage of the game, the I.D.E.A coalition is under the umbrella of the United Way of Chautauqua County,
Okay.
Of Southern Chautauqua County. So if you were to go to their website,
Gotcha.
you know, there's a drop-down box relative to contact info, and that's probably the best way to
Okay.
be able to do that, for them to get a hold of us.
Okay. And in the future, you'll be sending me posters for your meetings, and I'll be a contact spot, right?
Correct.
Yes.
I agree.
Because I looked on your Facebook page and I saw that you had announcements, and I never got your April meetings or whatever.
Well, as
You
of-
left me out.
As of today, that has changed. But I also want to mention, just before we go ahead, I just want to also make a plug for the structure, you know, because what you have is you have what was known as the steering committee,
Right.
and then you have the implementation team, right? So the steering committee is the governing factor for what we do, and it consists of 10 individuals from different coalition members organizations. In other words, the coalition members have not just signed up to be members, but they've also given us individuals, 10 different individuals from their organizations
Whoa.
to be a part of the committee as a structure to provide some governance. So they're committed in that sense, is what I'm trying to
Oh,
get
I
at.
want to go back what Sandra was saying, and open to everybody. Who's missing at the table?
Well, which is what I'm getting to.
I do this.
yeah.
I'm like, it's
Is
like a
it-
natural. Like I do.
You
natural.
have that sense, yes.
That's what I'm saying. So the steering committee is missing, and there's 10 individuals from different organizations, and then what we have is the implementation team, and I'm going to let Sandra get into because she has the paper. Just talk about the implementation team, Sandra.
Okay, so the implementation team consists of the 4 community liaisons. Yes, and the one that's not here. And it consists of some coalition members. And what we do, we're the ones who had the initial community town hall meetings. We gathered data, and there's a subgroup of the implementation team that inputted the data, the voices, the concerns of the communities. We then went back to the communities and told them, this is what we heard. Did we get it correct?
That's important.
Yes, yes.
Yes.
Been
So-
there. It's called my wife. We just I thought you said it was good. No, that's not quite right. Yeah. Communication's
And-
hard.
Yes, so we wanted to make sure we got it correct. And the implementation team then prioritized what we heard and what they said we got correct.
Okay, that's important.
So the essence is the implementation team is the working body. So you have, there's 3 whites, there's 4 whites, 4 African Americans, and 4 Latinos. So it's a total of 12 of us that are on it. It's not like we set out to have 4 of each group. It just so happens that way. And the coalition members again have sent individuals from their group
Gotcha.
to be a part of it.
All right.
So
I didn't think of it that way.
yeah,
That's 12
You're
people.
right.
That's a big group.
It's okay.
12 is a good, that's like corralling cats sometimes.
Yes.
But what I like to do is to have Vidalys and Shiloh jump in to talk about the town hall
Categories.
meetings, because like Sandra just mentioned, the first thing we had to do was to hear the voice of the people. So we had 4 different town hall meetings, and we went back and had 2 additional ones.
Okay.
And so you guys talk about some of the stuff that we got from the town hall meetings.
All right, so from our town hall meetings, of course, like Sandra mentioned before, unless we change the narrative, we change our process, we're not going to see any changes. So in these meetings, we didn't just want to listen. but we wanted to be able to apply what we've been hearing. So what we did was, and here's a small chart of it, was we took all the information from the community, all the comments that were given to us, the issues that were given to us, and we went through down a list and found out what was one of the things that stood out the most in all the counties and all the communities. And we started to be able to come up with like the top concerns for each county within the Black community, within the Latino community, and be able to apply these things. So we came up with a lot of data, a lot of data. So what we did was we were able to narrow them down a little bit. So just to give you guys an idea, we just did like the top 5 concerns, for each area. So like North County, for the Black community was like housing, community, social activities, education systems. North County Latino was, again, community, social activities, racism, discrimination, language barriers. Going down South County, Black community, services and resources, or lack thereof. Racism, discrimination, jobs, employment. South County Latino community, social activities, racism, discrimination, business. So going through that just quickly, you can see that the top concern of all of them were community and social activities.
Oh, got another chart. Work them.
Yes. So then, of course, we want to go a step further. These are the top 5s. As you can see in the center there, community social activities was probably the #1 concern. But what are the top 3? Let's narrow these down a little bit further.
Okay.
So our top 3 categories that we focused on were businesses, jobs, employment, the education system, community, and social activities.
Were there any surprises?
I mean, being minority ourselves, I would say no. I would say that these are concerns that I've had myself since I was a child. Seeing a lot of the community, activities and activities for minorities and children being taken away from us. A lot of these things are not surprising, but it is repetitive. These are things that we've been hearing for years.
I know.
So we need to make these changes. We need to do something different to make a change.
Okay.
I guess the only
Yeah.
surprising thing, sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
No, you're not interrupting. You're joining the conversation.
So I guess in the aspect of a surprising kind of impact, it wasn't like what she said. It wasn't necessarily a surprise to us, but it's something different when you see what you've been thinking this whole time, your whole experience. Sometimes, personally speaking, I always try to diminish what I feel, thinking that maybe it's too personalized. But to see the collection of data, to see the people, to hear the voices, to see the rage, to see the frustration, the tiredness, it's not a shock that community and social activities is something that is a huge factor that is lacking not only in the minority groups, but just Chautauqua County in general.
Yeah.
All of these scenarios and situations that are concerns, could communication within your peers, your neighbors, your providers, that is the element of where we can start to tackle these kind of these situations and difficulties we encounter day to day. And what our specialty is, and I want to phrase it this way, is that we get rid of assumption. We go straight to the source. We collect the data, we hear the voices, and we assure all of our community and neighbors that their concerns that they give us during their times of need and vulnerability, we take that information, polish it up, professionally present it to these coalition members, and say, what are we going to do? Not what are you going to do, what are we going to do? Because a lot of these organizations they work off of need. So the need is telling them, hey, this is exactly what we need. So we're starting off that journey, and it looks like, and it feels great. And it's going excellent.
Were any of you surprised that you all had the same needs?
This is interesting. Again, like Vidalys just mentioned, we went out to the different groups, the Blacks, the Latinos group, and we actually heard their voice, put together the data, a lot of different areas, whatever. We came up with 13 different concerns, right? And then we narrowed it down to 3, right? The business, employment as 1, education system is 2, and community and social activities as 3. Okay. What's interesting is that not only are these 3 areas similar in concern for the blacks and the Latinos, but they're also concerned for the white community too. And that is really saying to us that in our county, we have issues for the entire county relative to 3. The difference, though, is that how it actually affects us and what's causing the effects on us. So for Latinos and blacks, it's more of a marginalized situation compared to that of whites. But the need is there for all 3 groups. So when we come up with ideas and solutions for each of these groups, it is not only satisfying the blacks and Latinos, but also Chautauqua County at large.
Right.
And that's the beauty of it all.
And I was telling you that I've interviewed all kinds of people here on the show, and it's right on the money. We're aging county. We are diverse in some ways, and jobs, good paying jobs are scarce. Education sometimes is limited depending on your ability to access education, especially at the higher levels.
Exactly.
We know that we are very poor as a county,
Yes.
and that
The
affects
poorest.
all of this that we're talking about. So what you're saying, I've heard in different conversations,
Yeah.
but coming from a different angle.
Correct.
It is from a different angle. So not only did the 13 categories come up, but we also had the community define what those were in their view.
Right.
Okay. So let's take the educational system. It may be that access or rules being applied to the marginalized populations the same way as they are applied to the larger population. So they see a disparity between that.
Yeah.
And maybe the larger population, even though education system is a concern, they might not have that particular concern. Okay, but yeah.
Yeah. Again, as I've opened up the conversation here, it's like I'm sitting here going like, have we made any progress all these years? I'm very frustrated,
Yes.
myself. I'm a pretty liberal guy, and when I was going to college and stuff, this is stuff that we all focused on, and I thought that we figured it out, and maybe little bits and pieces, but I applaud all of you for what you're doing so far, and I think the key I heard, maybe Sandra said it, you defined it from the people's point of view
Right.
rather than from the institutional's point of view.
Correct.
Correct.
Which is
Correct.
usually skewed or like really.
Wait, it's just from their perspective.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So if we're trying to help the people that we say we're trying to help,
Right,
then we need to understand what those words mean to them.
right.
Right.
This is really a grassroots effort,
Right.
it
Right.
sounds to me, and that's awesome.
Right,
Exactly.
Right.
So where are we going?
So, the thing that we have to also take in account, now that we have these 3 different areas that we're going to literally work on, the next thing that we want to do, the next thing in the cycle, is to put together an additional team that we call the solution team. And the solution team will comprise of coalition members, steering committee and implementation team members, community members from the blacks and Latino community, and institutions and organizations and agencies, any entity in our community, in our county, that is able to lend credence to any of these topics will be a part of the respective topics.
This may be a tough question, and I mean this in the very, very best way. What are the percentages of Black, Latino, and white in Chautauqua County? Because I know that across the United States, there is no majority anymore.
Correct.
So here in Chautauqua County, what do we look like? Can anybody roughly?
Roughly, okay. It is small, I would say it varies from area.
Yeah, but generally speaking.
Generally speaking. I did do a graph with that, remember?
Yeah.
But it was only in the educational system.
Yeah,
It
we
was.
don't remember because I also had to have the data,
Yeah.
but I think what we can say, just from memory, those stats are out there, all right, so we can get the actual numbers.
Right, I'm just curious.
But what we can say, I think the African American group, from a county perspective, is probably about 2 to 3%.
Okay.
Right, and the Latino is a much higher number. It's probably maybe 5 or 6% or something like that, in the Latino group. What we should also know is that when you look at the demographic data, again, I don't have the actual numbers, but what you find happen is that even though the county is very much majority whites, 87%, 90%, what have you. What you find happen when you look at demographic data is from 2010, 2011, that time frame, and compared to today's numbers, you find the African American and the Latino, or people of color, if you will, that margin population is increasing, and the white population is decreasing, and that is phenomena is not just unique to here; it's all across the country.
That's what I was saying. There is really no majority anymore.
Right, and one of the things that we have to be concerned about is, again, I look at some projections for 2100, what the population is going to look like, and what they claim is that the white population that is in the United States right now is about 72%. It's going to reduce to about 45%, somewhere around there. And the group that is a minority population now is going to be the majority group. So what you find happens is that there's a shift in the demographic numbers, and so therefore those who can help, those who need the help, that needs to start now.
Right.
Because when we get to we may not be around in 2021, but what we're leaving for the next generation is very key. So this type of work is very important to be able to help the majority population at this time to have a better feel and understanding as to how they can help those who are in need at this time.
I'm going to ask you a very difficult question, and I'm going to say it as best I can. Growing up, the generation before me and the generation before that would say, hey, we came from Sicily and we were the Dagos. Hey, we were the Irish drunks and we were picked on, and now it's your turn. Do you deal with that attitude at all? I see some eyes rolling and thinking, and I'm just saying, back then when I was growing up, I didn't buy into it, but I just heard this and it was sort of like, so.
Well, if you think about it from the African American side, I presume the answer would be a little bit different from the Latino side.
Right, the history's different, yeah.
So let me see if I can give some credence to the African American side and let my Latino friends talk about it from their side. To respond to that question, what you're saying is true, but you got to remember slavery starts way back before that happened. So an African American person would imagine would be saying that they have been in slavery, that the kind of marginalized scenarios, it's not just something that just started today or last year or 100 years ago. This is like, way back in the 1600. And what happens over the years is that we are people who are formed. What I mean by that, we transfer information from one generation to generation, right? So we transfer the good, the bad, and the ugly. We transfer the emotions, we transfer the feelings, we transfer how we think from one generation to the other. So what happens is all of that feelings, doings from the whites, from the and the blacks, I mean, that's been transferred to today's generation. So, you know, a black person today, I can sit there and I can watch a movie about slavery, and I feel the pain that they felt going through the process. You know, so yeah, the Sicily, those from Sicily, those from Europe that came over,
20th century.
20th century.
Yeah.
I mean, I presume they had their own issues they got to deal with,
Right.
but so does the African Americans too.
Right. Yeah.
And
So I just want to add just a quote from Martin Luther King Jr. The time is always right to do right. So to say, you know, well, it's a rite of passage that, you know, my group went through that, but that wasn't right as well. So,
Yeah.
Yeah, and I was
Okay.
just going to touch on that. I mean, being from the Latino community, I mean, every minority went through their troubles. Every minority went through their struggles, but everyone experienced it differently.
correct.
Because even though I am not, you know, African American or black, or doesn't mean that my people weren't slaves. Does not mean that my people were not treated the same way. Because at the end of the day, when it came to using a white water fountain, or the black's water fountain, we had to use the black's water fountain because we were not white. So we went through similar problems, similar issues, but we did experience them differently, because then with the Latino community, you throw in that language barrier on top of the treatment. So not only are we, you know, we're scared, but we're confused because we don't understand what's going on. We don't understand why it's
Where do I
happening.
fit in here?
You know, when they talk about, you know, I'm Puerto Rican. My parents were born and raised in Puerto Rico. So when they came here, I guess people look at us like, you can't say you migrated here because Puerto Rico belongs to the U.S.
Right.
You guys are
Right.
citizens.
Right.
But we're not treated as though.
I know.
Even though Puerto Rico does belong to the United States,
Yeah.
we are not treated as
Right.
citizens.
Yeah.
You know, so it's hard to say, or, you know, to get those comments, because, you know, as Sandra was saying, every group, every generation went through their issues, went through their problems, went through their hardships, went through their trauma. You know, and it doesn't make it right,
No.
but it doesn't mean that we have to continue that vicious cycle.
Precisely.
Correct,
The
correct.
cycle.
Correct.
Folks, you have about 2.5 minutes left.
oh my, so fast.
So let's get some key points.
So let me give you 2 key points,
Yes.
and then my other colleagues can churn on that. The first thing I want to leave our audience with is this: that every soul that is born in this world is born with a history. You come from a lineage that has an history. So, and what's interesting about that concept is that you don't choose your history. It's been given to you.
Yep.
You inherit that. Okay. The thing is, once you recognize what your history is, what you have inherited, the question is, what do you do with that to give you the next generation a better history? So each and every one of us have an opportunity to do something positively different with what's been given to us, such that we can leave something better for the next generation. And if you really think about it, that whole concept, if you don't do anything with what's been given to you, all you're giving to the next generation is what you got,
Yeah.
right? And in a lot of ways, that's what we have.
And I just wanted to say, I understand people are tired. I understand people are frustrated. And I understand that sometimes people feel like no matter what we do, no matter what we say, is not going to make a change, or it's not going to go any further because it didn't in the past. This is different.
Chautauqua County is small enough where you can make a difference.
Yes,
right?
Yes,
this is
yes.
different, and we are
Okay,
definitely
ladies, you
gonna
got
apply it.
36 minutes, seconds.
Okay, so I wanted just to add, hear me, feel me, okay? That means that believe what I say I'm experiencing. It doesn't negate your view.
Great.
It doesn't, you know, take away from what you experienced. But, yeah.
Well, I just want to let the community know that please remember our faces and have the comfortability to find us, whether on Facebook, in person, stop us. We are here to communicate with you and represent you, and not just represent our minorities, but also represent the need of changes that have to be implemented within the county. And all of these efforts have been remarkable, but we can't do it alone. We need you.
Well said, everybody.
Okay.
Y'all come back sometime.
Yes, we
Do
will.
you know?
Yes, we
Let me
will.
know what's
Yeah.
going on.
Yes.
Folks, you've been listening to representatives from the I.D.E.A. here in the Chautauqua County, and I want to thank all of you for joining me here today.
Thank you for having
And
us.
we're going to do this all next Saturday morning. I don't even know who's going to be my guest. I don't remember from week to week. But stay dry, and thank you all for coming, and keep up the good work.
Thank you for having
Thank
us.
you.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you.
Appreciate
Take care
it.
now. Stay dry. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Stay.
Yes.